Stop me if you've heard this one. You're watching a TV show, enjoying the plot with all its shenanigans and drama that kept you watching for so long. Suddenly, female character A either confesses to/kisses or is confessed to or kissed by female character B. At first, it's grand. We love representation. But then you really think about it, and there was no real indication that this person had any interest in the other, or any other female for that matter. And after this, the revelation is never looked into, and the aftermath is non-existent. I dub this sudden Sapphic. Hold for applause. And copyright. Okay. I made a community post about this to gauge other people's opinions, like, am I making this up in my head? Is this something that is actually happening? I'll say Korra from Avatar Legends of Korra and Asami. Their relationship had seemed nothing but platonic. Korra had her own male love interest, Asami was an ex of Korra's love interest, etc., until the very last act of the final arc, and they suddenly just got together. Catra and Adora from S-Pop, TBH, it felt like they pushed all of the awful things Catra did to Adora aside just to get them together. The romantic development was super forced and rushed because they needed these two to kiss and get together at all cost and sidelined everyone else. As a lesbian, I think a lot of shows start out with a hetero character, then toss in a WLW relationship, either for shock value, surprise, they were bisexual the whole time, or in a poor attempt at representation. They want the relationship to be a surprise, and so it wasn't developed at all. It's poor writing because the relationship is treated more like an event that happens for the sake of the audience, rather than something that the characters are actually experiencing. Thanks to everybody who commented and left their own thoughts and opinions on the matter. I'm going to go into 3 different couples of my own choosing that I feel like came out of nowhere and weren't justified whatsoever. I'll try and get to the real meat and bones of it so you don't actually have to have watched these shows to understand what I'm talking about. Number 1, Doctor Who, Yaz and the Doctor. I think these two suffer from a lack of characterization to begin with, so putting 2 characters that have a lack of characterization together, truly terrible. If you want to have a fuller deep dive in understanding why the current season or series of Doctor Who doesn't work, you can watch JXE's 5-hour video. I have watched it at least 3 times. I have not regretted a single second of those 15 hours that I spent watching it. However, just to put it in a nutshell, the only things that I really know about the Doctor in this incarnation is she's quirky, she's antisocial, she doesn't really understand social interaction, coupled with Yaz, who is a woman of colour and a police officer. Those are the things that I've grasped from the characterization of these people without other characters simply telling them that they're amazing and they're brave and they're smart. I haven't actually seen that myself, just other people telling them that they're brave and smart. There was rumours, speculation and prediction that the Doctor and Yaz would end up together, and I don't like the Doctor being in romantic relationships full stop, but this felt cheap. Some guy says to Yaz, "Are you gonna tell her how you really feel?" And I'm like, how did you garner that? Where is this coming from? I have not had any chemistry between these 2 characters whatsoever, outside of the context that they're often in life or death situations, and therefore the platonic intensity may be more than usual. Because if my bestie was my best shot of getting out of a situation alive, I'd hang on to them a little bit too. I just don't see it. There's absolutely no chemistry, and if they go through with this, then I think it is, again, a cheap shot at representation without any payoff really whatsoever. Like, are they actually going to go into this and talk about Yaz's deep feelings and her internal struggles? We'll have to see, but I doubt it. The only thing is a comment from Yaz's mum asking if the Doctor and Yaz are together. That's it. a third party comes in and says, hey, I think there's something going on between you two, much like Dan saying to Yaz, oh, you have feelings for her and it's obvious. It's third parties that are nursing this idea. It's not the characters themselves. This relationship, much like their characterization, is being built around exposition from other characters. I'm not going to say any more on that. Emily and Allison from Pretty Little Liars was built on the bully turned lover trope, which is somewhat common with gay couples, and I hate it so much. Their friendship was so toxic. Allison was her bully. She would lead Emily on and kiss her, and then turn around and tell her that she was only kissing Emily to practice for the real thing with boys. There was no indication whatsoever that Allison ever liked Emily, and she full-on admitted that she was using Emily, and the only reason they came together was due to trauma, and honestly a very specific event that you have to believe me if you have not seen Pretty Little Liars. This is a thing that actually happened. I am not making this up. So Emily is donating her eggs because she is broke. Somebody takes Emily's eggs, fertilizes them, and forcefully inseminates an unknowing Allison with them. Yeah, in a complete 180 parallel, the relationship development between Maya and Emily was given time and thought and consideration and was a good relationship. But they kill off Maya, so we can't have nice things. Just watch the first and second seasons of Pretty Little Liars if you want to see a lesbian relationship done right, except for that blip with Paige, because Paige tried to drown Emily in a pool and she still dated her afterwards. Yeah, Pretty Little Liars and the development of lesbian relationships don't go well. And the last couple I'm going to talk about, genuinely I did not see coming, and it hit me like a ton of bricks because I thought that I had missed an episode or several episodes upon viewing this. Dorothy and Red from Once Upon a Time. Dorothy needs to be awoken from a sleeping curse with a kiss of true love, and Red kisses her, and I'm like, hang on a minute, when did this happen? When were there any indications that Dorothy and Red would be a thing? Red had more chemistry with Belle. I was kind of gunning for that. I knew it would never happen, but there was more interaction and chemistry with Belle than Dorothy. I have no idea where that came from. Some people could say that this is just the audience looking at things from a heterosexual-centered point of view, because we're making the assumption that all characters are straight until proven otherwise. But I'm not really buying that, because with any relationship, regardless of the gender of people who are involved, there has to be some focus on the chemistry between those two characters. There doesn't always necessarily have to be some inner turmoil and struggle and coming out process, but there has to be chemistry between the two characters that we're talking about. Even if we consciously make the decision to say we do not know the orientations of any of the characters, and we do not look at things from a heterosexual-centric point of view, there still has to be chemistry between the characters and characterization and building. I think it's kind of a cop-out for people to say, well, you were just assuming that they were heterosexual. You were assuming that they were into the opposite sex. No, because like all relationships, there has to be a connection there. And the imbalance is definitely felt when straight and gay male couples get more time, effort and consideration put into them. Going back to Pretty Little Liars, Ezra and Arya had a hell of a lot more development than any of Emily's relationships. A hell of a lot more of it. And Ezra Fitz is a felon. This isn't going to be a deep dive into the topic, more of a conversation opener. What do you guys think in the comments below? Do you think that Sapphic relationships are given enough time? And how do you feel when a lesbian couple just pops up on your screen in a story where you had no indication that said characters were even interested in each other, let alone the same sex. I'll see you guys later. Bye.